We are going to start our chapter 11. I don't know if this is how to write 11. It's like this. So it looks like 2, huh?
No, so it's like that.
How to write 2? 2 is like this, huh?
Yeah, it's
Oh, yeah, okay. Because you see, like in French, 11 is like this. This is 11. So it looks like 7, 7. Yeah, so I have
It does not
problems.
look like 7, 7.
Yeah, it's
It looks
1.
like-
This is 1 in French. So sometimes I'm confused. This is 1, 1. For us, 7, it's like this. This is 7. Yeah, so sometimes it's giving me a headache.
And then 4, is it still the same?
Yeah, for you it's like this, but for us it's like this. No, for you it's like this, for us it's this.
same thing.
Yeah, they are only slightly this difference. So now we are going to talk about what IP addressing, but most of the stuff we did them already. So I will go to what you need for now. Especially we are going to talk about subnetting, right? What does it mean by subnetting, right? So subnetting means that you have one network, right? You are going to split that network in different small networks. So it means you have a network, one bigger one here, right? Now you are going to split it like into smaller ones, right? So it's gonna be like subnetwork 1, subnetwork 2, subnetwork 3. This is the meaning. So taking a large network, split it into smaller ones. And those smaller ones we call what? Subnet. So you take one network, you split it into smaller ones, right? You can also say you take one IP, you split it into smaller IPs, right? So this is the meaning of subnetting, right? So you have one IP, you are going to split it into smaller ones, right? This is the meaning, the whole story, right? Why you have to split a large network to smaller ones, right? This is the question. Why subnetting? Why this question? Why we have to do that, right? This is the question. Why we need to subnet? Why we need to split a large network to smaller networks? And those smaller networks, we call them what? Subnetworks, right? Why you must take a large network, split it into smaller ones, right? Number 1, right? For performance. Performance, right? Don't forget about this. So we are splitting a large network to smaller ones for what? For performance of your networks, right? It means this. You have a company, right? You have a company. Your whole company is one bigger network, right? But you have to split that bigger network into smaller ones, right? Why? Because you want the performance, right? If you are keeping like all your devices into one network, your network will be slow, right? Because you are combining like everybody like into a one broadcast domain, but we are going to talk about it later on. So you got a company, your company is one bigger network. Now you have to subnet you have to split it like into smaller networks that we call subnet. Why? Because we want the performance, right? You don't understand? It's like you have your family and everybody sleeping in the same room. You put all your kids like in a single room, right? You are going to see that it's going to be like a disorder, right? So for you to avoid keeping like all your kids, like men and ladies, like in a single room, you can try to split them like into different rooms, right? Understand? So when you wanna educate your ladies, you don't want the men to listen, right? Because ladies' stories is different with men stories. You cannot go to your daughters and start telling them how to use the condom, how to put the condom, and so on, because their body is different. You cannot take that lesson and go to daughters and telling them, right? But when you split them, the information can flow so easily, right? This is the meaning. So number one, it's performance. Your network will be fast when you have like this AD power, one network, but you split that network in smaller ones. So the communication will be fast between those smaller subnets, right? Number two, security, right? When you are keeping ladies and men sleeping the same room, what's going to happen? They can develop feelings, right? Even though they are in the same family, right? It can happen like your son can sleep with your daughter. Why? Because you cannot mix those two most of the times, right? And they are going to have like problems, stealing and so on. So why? Because they are sleeping in the same room. They can know when. So you are coming with your money, you as a father, because you are sleeping using the same room with your kids. They can see where you are keeping money, what you are doing. So it's so easy for them to know where is your money, where to take, right? When you are keeping like all your computers like in a single network, so it's so easy for this guy to move to another computer, right? When you can click to network, you go to File Explorer, you click on networks, you can see all the computers that are where? Like under this what? This network. You can see all those computers. So it's very easy to move from one computer to another computer. But when you subnet, when you split your network into smaller ones, it's going to be very difficult from one guy, from one network to move to another network. Right? So do you understand?
Yes.
And you can do what? Number three, there is what we call no policies. Right? So it's like management. Right? For every subnet, for every network that you are going to create, you are going to create what? Some policies. Right? What they can do, which program they can access, according to their networks. Right? But if you don't split, how you are going to configure those policies? Right? You know, when you are dealing with computers, right? You are going to create what we call policies. Policies is going to be like a list. Yes? Yeah. So, yeah, it's recording.
It's fine.
Maybe you can come off that.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
30 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So, when you are dealing, you as a system administrator or IT specialist, when you are dealing with computers, right, you are going to create some policies related to their family, related to their networks. So you can go to ladies, you say, okay, ladies, I don't want you to go 5 p.m., you must be back home, right? And when you go outside, don't take 10 minutes, because 10 minutes a lady can do like everything. So everything can be finished in 10 minutes. Men, you must do this, you can come back. For you must come back around 10, maybe 10 p.m. So the last time you must come. So those are the policies that you can set for computers. what times computers can be switched on, what computers can, according to their networks, right? So you can set up the policies so easily according to their networks. But if you are keeping them, like all of them in a single network, how are you gonna configure policies? So it's going to be very hard to configure some settings on this computer and on this one because they are in the same networks, right? So those are the three parts that you need to understand the reason of doing subnetting, right? You want the speed, you want the security, and you want to configure policies, right? And you have to understand again this. You know, when you are getting like a internet from your provider, they won't gonna give you thousands of IPs. They wanna give you just one IP, right? Now it's your responsibility to take that one IP to do what? To split it. How to divide it now? Because your telecom can only give you one IP. Your SIM card can only come with what? One IP. How everybody can use that IP? You have to subnet. You have to know how to take one IP and split it in two different IPs. This is the reason of this subnetting, right? Not keeping every computer in a single network. For performance, for security, for policies or management, right? So you have to separate them. How to separate them? There are techniques that you have to follow that we call subnetting, right? So somebody can give you just one IP, but you, that IP, you can split it in different smaller IPs and you can share it, right? Now, this subnetting, you are going to do it, so you are going to split your network into smaller ones according to what? Maybe to location, right? You cannot just split in this order. Maybe you can look at what? Locations, right? Location, right? So you can create smaller networks. You can create your subnet according to location, right? So it can be like this. Flow 1, subnet 1, right? So they are going to have their own IP. Flow 2, subnet 2, right? So when you split your IPs, for every IP, for every network, you give it according to the location. So flow 1, they got their own network. Flow 2, their own network. Flow 3, their own. This is according to the location. Maybe you can say building 1, it's network 1. So they got their own IP. Building 2, they got their own IPs. So when you want to do your subnetting, you can do it according to what? Location. Maybe you can go for location. Number 2, not only location, you can look at the function. The function or the tasks. You can group networks according to what? Functions or tasks. Right? Did you understand? Maybe the way we are sitting here, all of us, we are students, right? We need what? We need packet tracer, we need all those software for this program, right? So you can give us like our own network because we got the common goal, right? According to what we wanna achieve. Maybe it's a marketing department. Marketing department, you can keep it using their own network because they got the same objectives, right? So you can create those networks according to the objectives. Maybe it's marketing, maybe it's finance. You keep them like on their own different networks because it's going also to be like easy for you to configure what? The policies, because you know what are the requirements for marketing people, what are the software that they need. So you can keep them on their own networks. So this is the meaning of functions or department or tasks that those people they need. So if we required the same things, it's better to keep us like in the same network. You can create for us our own networks according to our own need, right? Sometimes we can create also networks according to the devices, the type of the devices, right? So you can create a network for servers, just for servers. So servers can have their own what? Networks, right? Or maybe all the switches, maybe all the printers, they can have their own networks. Maybe the cameras, you can keep them on their own network. Own networks means their own IP, right? You understand? So when you create a network of printers, when you wanna configure printers, it's going to be like easy, right? You can create the policies. You can say like printers can be switched on maybe from this time. They can only print this number of papers and so on. And like all those policies, you're going to assign them to those networks so easily, right? So you can create like subnets according to location, according to functions, according to the devices type. It depends on your own decision, how you think like you can split your networks. Nobody will come and tell you. Maybe if you're working with senior guys, you just follow what they're saying. But if it's you, you can suggest them, no guys, why not having like every network for every floor? Why not having like every network for every building? Why not having like every network for every type of devices? You can deal with companies where maybe like one of the company I was working, right? When I was like a student, I was working like a security guard for that when I was a student, right? It was a part-time job. That building, maybe the number of cameras was 900 cameras. Guys, 900 cameras. You see those cameras, they were 900. The day I saw those hard drives that are keeping those cameras, hey, I went crazy, guys. You can see like it was huge like this, right? Just hard drives for keeping those cameras. But those cameras was using the same internet as what? Those computers for that hotel, right? So if you don't know how to split, how to manage them, you are going to be in trouble. So if you don't know how to split the networks according to the device types, according to, right? Did you understand? Any question?
No.
My friend, so you understand that, so you have a family and you split your family like into different homes. There's a home for kids, a home for ladies, a home for men, because you don't want them to be in the same home, right? For security of sharing information and so on, right? Now the question is how to subnet, right? As I said, they are very easy, but you have just to know what you wanna achieve, right? What you want to achieve and why are you doing so. Most of the time, maybe you won't gonna even get involved on these things of subnetting. Don't say like, no, I'm going to do it. No, maybe if you are a senior person, now you are going to deal with subnetting. But if you're just working, no, it's not your business. They're gonna come and tell you, this is the IP, do this. You don't even know where the IP came from. It's not your business, right? So it's not like you are going to do it in real life. You're going to do it if it's you the senior person, right? But I know you are going to get involved in meetings where they are talking about how to design something, how to show the, so. Now we are going to talk about the subnetting process, right? The subnetting process. Hey guys, I remember when I was doing my instructor course, I went to Cape Peninsula University of Technology in Cape Town. I was there, I didn't know about this subnetting. Guys, it was giving me a headache. One guy took me from Val University, right? That guy took me inside the car. The guy was teaching me this before the exam. So he was teaching me the subnetting. Hey, I was like, man, hey, how these things works? It's confused and so on. So we went inside the car, inside the parking, and the guy was explaining to me, hey, you know this, you must do this, you must do this. That guy opened my mind. I don't know even how to get in that guy. Right? Now, what is the process that you have to follow? Because you are going to have one network. Now you have to split it like into different networks. Or you have one IP, but you have to split it into smaller ones, right? But you are going to be still in the same large networks, right? So even though you send your kids into different rooms, they're still under your control, right? Now, for creating subnet, so I have to write using the capital letters in order for those who are sitting there to see. So for creating an IP subnet, what you must do, I'm going to use the red. You must take the host bits, and change them. Host bits are changed to network bits. Very important. Network bits. So this one, so this number 1 must be changed to number 2. Rule number 1 that you must know. So the host bits must be changed to what? To network bits, right? Means that you know when you have an IP address, right? There are how many parts? 2 parts, right? There's a part for the network and a part for the host, for the computer or for the device, right? Now we are going to take the host part, we are going to change it to what? To network part. You don't understand? You must change the host part to network bits. What does it mean? The host part is always zeros, right? Zeros must be changed to what? To ones. This is the meaning. Well,
Wait, let's see what you
okay.
move this.
Okay, let me first finish up this first part. We're gonna take a break for 2 minutes because I'm recording and we're going to move to the next part, right? Okay, fine.